This is the Difference Sports Podcast Show.
Welcome back to week 8 of the Different Sports Podcast Show. Hard to believe, but we only have, after this week, 2 more guaranteed weeks of football in Pennsylvania in the high school level. As we always start this show, we're going to start with the Diffs decisions. 10 high school, 5 college, 5 professional. Last week at the high school level, I went 8-2, 55-15 overall on the season. 2 games I lost. Montgomery beat Muncie. I picked Muncie in that one. They lost 15-14. And Shamokin destroyed Selinsgrove. I didn't expect that. Congrats to Coach Hynoski. Okay, Bloomsburg at Hughesville. The Spartans are winless, and they'll remain that way. I'm taking Bloomsburg in that one. Central at Warrior Run. When the Blue Jays are on, they're one of the top 3 teams in the entire conference. They'll handle Warrior Run easily. Central Columbia wins that one. Wellsboro at Canton. Both teams are undefeated. Both are Northern Tier League teams. But what I saw last week was Wellsboro barely beat a bad Milton squad. So I'm going with Canton in that one. Lewisburg at Jersey Shore. Green Dragons have more weapons on both sides of the ball. Lewisburg will win that one. Loyalsock at Milton. The Lancers are now into their 4th week with a new quarterback. I think they've found a rhythm. I'm going to take Loyalsock in that one. Mifflinburg at Montoursville. Don't really know about it, but Montoursville should handle them easily. Selinsgrove at Central Mountain. Central Mountain is still winless like Hughesville is. Only 2 teams left in the Heartland Conference. Selinsgrove wins that one. Mount Carmel at South Williamsport. The Red Tornadoes have behind Southern Columbia the 2nd best run defense in the conference, and that's what South Williamsport does well. The Red Tornadoes will win that one. Danville at Shamokin. Both teams are coming off big wins. However, I'm thinking the Ironmen will win on the road. And Southern at Shikellamy. Until later on last school year, Shikellamy tried everything they could to not have Southern on their schedule, and there's going to be a reason why. You'll see that tomorrow night. We're shooting this Thursday. Southern wins in a rout. On to the college level. Went 5-0 last week. Disappointing 2-3 this week. 18-12 on this season. I lost Texas over Oklahoma game. Florida beating LSU and Northwestern beating Michigan State. This week's games. Georgia at LSU. Tigers are coming off a road loss to Florida, and I'm saying they're going to make it 2 in a row. Georgia Bulldogs win that one. Wisconsin at Michigan. 3rd and 4th best teams in the Big Ten. Games in Ann Arbor. Michigan wins. Texas Tech at TCU. That game is actually being played tonight, Thursday night, between 2 of the Lone Star State teams. TCU is going to win that one. Colorado at USC. Colorado is ranked. USC's been a disappointing squad. However, I think the Trojans will win that one. And Michigan State at Penn State. Penn State's coming off a bye. Pretty much fully healthy. The Nittany Lions will win that one. NFL. Like last week, I was 5-0 in my NFL picks. And I was 2-3. I'm sorry, 5-0 the week before, 2-3 last week. Eagles, I lost that game. I lost the Chiefs game and the Steelers game. So both Pennsylvania games I predicted the opposite way. Eagles at the Giants. That game's tonight. In my mind, it's the worst division in football. I'm taking Philadelphia just because I'll get less hate mail, being that this is a Pennsylvania-driven podcast. The Rams at the Broncos. Rams will remain as the only undefeated team in the NFL in Mile High this week. Rams win that one. Buffalo at Houston. Josh Allen's showing he can run, but J.J. Watt and company, I think, will be ready for that. Texans win that. Chargers at the Browns. Who would have ever thought the Browns would have been relevant at this point? Browns can compete with a lot of teams. I just think the Chargers and Phillip Rivers will win that one. And Pittsburgh at Cincinnati. Steelers offense is looking more like normal. Defense looked better. Well, they couldn't have looked much worse than they did in the previous part of the season. So I'm taking a steel curtain in that one. We're getting ready for a field hockey game here up in the press box. Now joining me is the Tigers' front 4 on defense. Southern Columbia's defense has been shutting down teams all season long, and these 4 guys are the main reason for it. We're going to try and squeeze them in here. With me, junior Defensive tackle, Cole Shankweiler. Senior defensive tackle Robert Williams. Senior defensive end, Peyton Purcell. And Lear Quinton, junior defensive end. You can barely see. We'll turn this a little bit, Lear. There we can see it. All right, so a couple questions in discussion. Lear, what do you think's been the strength of your defense so far this season?
Our run defense and just chemistry.
And with that, how important is it for you guys to have the speed at the linebacker position you do? Because most of the time you four are in on the tackle, but you don't have to worry about making the solo tackle because the linebackers fly in like gnats.
Yeah, it's really important just because our main job is just clog things up and have them, get messed up.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and we've seen that a lot this year. All right, Peyton, JV team last 2 years. You've seen time at both tight end and defensive end. Obviously, you've seen time at the varsity level as well. What's the biggest difference between the JV level and the varsity level, would you say?
I want to say more of an aggressive approach as a varsity player, and that on JV it's more relaxed, but you still want to go and play and have fun.
Now, do you notice anything? Is there bigger difference between? Would you say it's more of a difference between the strength of the players or the speed of the players?
I want to say it's more of the strength of the players, not really the speed. There's a lot of strong players out there on JV even.
Yeah.
But it's much more of both on varsity. But the strength is probably more than the speed.
Cole, you guys being perfectionists, obviously winning the state championship undefeated last year, haven't lost a regular season game since 2011. Even though you guys are doing great this year, there's always room for improvement. I'm sure the coaches have been harping on that. From the defensive side of the ball, what do you guys think, or what, in your opinion, would you say that you guys can still get better at on defense?
Definitely pass coverage. That seems to be where we lack. I mean, every team seems to target 2 players on our defense, and they're I don't want to say the weak link of the team, but definitely our weakest part of the defense.
And how important is it, Robert, going off of that, how important is it to get a good pass rush?
So the quarterback keeps moving and won't be able to pass the ball, so we have to make a run, so then they won't be able to throw or run the ball, so we have to just try to shut it down.
Right. And being a senior, Robert, you're only guaranteed, well, you made the playoffs, so you have at least 4 more games, but knowing that it is winding down and the potential's there, obviously you guys are going to be favored. How does that change your mentality for the rest of the season?
Well, it's a great mentality. It's just we have to pick it up. We have to keep the intensity we have. I mean, we have to have more. We have to keep improving up on our defense and offense as well. But we just have to keep going and hopefully win every game.
Lear, you guys, obviously, I just said, defending state champions. How do you think you guys are viewed throughout the area? I'm sure every time you're playing an opponent, they know they're not dummies. Getting every team's best shot, how do you guys have to make sure to mentally approach it? Because sometimes there are going to be teams that, and we've seen it already this year, that are targeting certain players, cheap shots and stuff. Just how do you keep focused and you're cool?
We just got to pretend like we're not.
Come on in, they can't see it.
We just got to play like we're not, top ranked. We got to play like we're just a normal team, and we have something to prove still.
Okay, Peyton. Preston's playing quarterback now. Obviously, we all know how accurate and Stone has done a great job as a quarterback. Preston's also done a very good job, statistically excellent since filling in the last 3 weeks. What do you think is an element of the game that Preston brings that you guys can utilize until Stone returns, hopefully healthy for a strong playoff push?
I think it's his speed more than anything. It's like he's a little faster than Stone is, but if our line just collapses, he can scramble out. Whereas Stone would be like, he would roll out, but I think that Preston would beat the players coming in.
Okay. Cole. All right. Obviously, you guys know linemen like to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Take me through what's your consensus pregame meal, and then after the victory, what's your postgame meal?
All right, so before every game, every home game, I usually like to go to Subway. Anything from Subway is usually pretty filling and doesn't make you feel like you want to throw up when you're on the field. And then after the game, I think one of the best things you can eat is just anything that has chicken in it.
Chicken? Okay.
Chicken just seems to.
Well, you can go back to Subway even.
Yeah, I mean, if you really want to, you could, but
Go to McDonald's, chicken. nuggets.
chicken's just very filling, good protein.
Yeah.
You know.
How much time we have till? Oh, we're still good. I'll be done in time. The legends behind us. You can come in if you want. Sneak on through. The legendary Southern Columbia junior high wrestling coach that's helped build a program that's getting up there with the Tiger football program as the best in the state. Okay, Robert. Now, I'm going to have these guys on my show next week. I know your brother's one of them. How cool is it to be able to be examples for the water boys, and especially, they're not just water boys that are duds like some other schools might be, like, here's your water. They like to interact and have fun. How fun and cool is that? Not just having your brother, but having those guys that look up to you guys.
It's pretty cool because then we can show them like how this whole thing runs. They can learn off of us of what we do. So then when they get to our level, they can have the intensity and have all the skills and all seeing what we do. And in the whole program, they can be with us to see what happens every game. And it's just not the water boys. It's them having them there. Just
Right.
gives them that joy.
Okay, reached the part of our show, Diff's Debate. Last week was obviously an unfortunately somber one, so we're going to try and get back to our normal rhythm. This week, just stepping away from sports, talking about some things in the news. If you haven't heard, Dunkin' Donuts, the well-known chain, is now dropping the word donuts from its name. Can't understand it. I'll even ask your guys' opinion. To me, that's like Burger King dropping burgers, being called King, or Taco Bell being called just Bell. It doesn't seem right. It's worked for 50 years. I mean, I know there's political correctness going on all over the place, but to me, the word donut doesn't mean anything violently or anything bad. What the heck? Shank, since I talked to you about food, what do you think's going on? Now they're just Dunkin'.
Well, I think they changed the name because there's more than just donuts there. Like, maybe if it was just a strictly donut shop, then yes, you could keep the name Dunkin' Donut, but now there's Dunkin' products for, like, breakfast sandwiches, tater tots, coffee.
All right. Now, go to Burger King. So you tell me why can't they just be called King? I've gotten stuff other than burgers there.
Well, like, the difference there
Or
is,
Taco Bell. I've gotten different things other than tacos.
I think the difference there would be if it was just called King, like, some people might think it's a really expensive, fancy restaurant. Or
All right, what about Bell then? I get the King thing.
Bell, they might just think, I don't know, it's a Bell shop.
Well, what about Dunkin'? Maybe they think you're going to go in and get your head dunked underwater or something. It doesn't make sense. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
All right, next thing I saw 2 days ago. I don't know if you heard about it, but in Hawaii, a marine mammal hospital, people were getting calls. They thought at first it was telemarketers or some kind of political campaign. One lady got pretty ticked off. She called to find out that one of the geckos that was in the hospital, somehow a phone got off the hook. They don't know if the gecko knocked it off the hook. They looked through security cameras, couldn't figure it out. And the gecko was walking over the phone, and in the matter of 2 hours, made over 36 phone calls, 7 of which went to one single lady. So, again, I just thought that was pretty funny to see. And I guess the lesson from that is, don't assume if you don't know the number, it's one of those telemarketers. I know sometimes, my gram even, what she does, she gets so mad, she has a whistle by her phone, and if it's a telemarketer, she blows the whistle as hard as she can into the phone, and they don't call back. Some people argue with them. I mean, it's just their job. But the bottom line, don't assume that it's a telemarketer every time you get a call. Could be a gecko. And just when I thought people couldn't get any dumber, I don't know if you saw this one, 33-year-old Missouri man received a felony, and he made it possible to get dumber. Guy had on an ankle monitor for violating a restraining order earlier this year. What he did was not only remove the device, but he was actually dumb enough to post him removing the device and put it on Facebook for the world to see how to do it. Basically, he could have just took the gecko's approach, used the phone, and called the police and said, just come and arrest me. Bottom line, and I know you guys have heard it, be smart with social media. It can be your best friend at times, but it can also be your worst enemy. obviously this guy deserves to think that one over behind bars. Okay? So that's the debate for this week. Now, on to the trivia section. Usually we have 2 guys. We've had before groups. So I'm going to break this section up into defensive ends versus defensive tackles. Try to switch it up each week. This week's dimes will be based on the fact that you guys are like a unit or a pack, a group. So I am going to ask questions that deal with groups. Number 1, and you guys can like whisper to each other. There are 5 Great Lakes. I'm going to say 4 of them. You have to tell me which one I'm missing. Lake, Huron, Michigan, Ontario, Erie, and what? Remember, they're going against you, so both teams, I think, are going to get this one right. So, next, there's 7 dwarfs, okay? I'm going to name 5 of them. You name 2 of them. This is a 2-point question. The 2 I'm missing. Happy, Doc, Grumpy, Sneezy, Dopey, and what are the other 2's names? Again, Happy, Doc, Grumpy, Sneezy, Dopey. Who is that? Here's somebody from the peanut gallery in the crowd trying to give answers out.
No.
Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3. I know you guys, I'm showing my age a little bit because these used to be guys that I used to love watching when I grew up. Out of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which one am I missing? Donatello, Leonardo, Raphael, and which one? Okay? Number 4. In the movie Christmas Vacation, the main Griswold family is made up of 2 parents and 2 kids. I'm going to tell you 3 of them. You tell me which one's missing. Clark, Ellen, Audrey, and who? Give you a hint. The son is the one name that I'm looking for.
Yeah, I figured that one.
Yeah.
Okay? That was question 4. Number 5. Mount Rushmore consists of the faces of 4 presidents. They are Washington, Jefferson, Lincoln, and who? Question number 6. The periodic table of elements contains 6 noble gases. I'll give you 3. You give me the remaining 3. This is a 3-point question. You can get 1, 2, or 3 points. Those, now we got an interruption here in the box. Those,
Yes.
those 3 that I'm going to give you
At the field.
are xenon, argon, and helium. What are the other 3 noble gases?
No. I'll tell you when.
Argon, xenon, and helium. What are the other 3? Okay, number 7. Now this might be one for these older guys over here. The 5th Beatle, so the band The Beatles, obviously. The 5th Beatle has an informal title that various commentators in the press and entertainment industry have applied to people that were once a member of the Beatles. Obviously, people know the Fab Four. Okay, there's Fab Four members of the Beatles. 3 of them are John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and who? So we got Lennon, McCartney, Harrison, and shut up over there. Bobby, you're going to be out of this press box in a minute.
I'll pull the plug.
Okay, those are 7 general trivia questions. Rushing here because I have to announce the starting lineups here in a couple minutes. Last 3 are going to be sports questions since this is what we are, a sports podcast. Number 8, 4 teams make the college football playoffs every year. Last year, Alabama won it all. They were joined in the playoffs by Clemson, Georgia, and who? Clemson, Georgia, and who with Alabama? Number 9. With the Eagles winning the Super Bowl last year, there's now 12 teams that haven't won a Super Bowl. On top of that, out of those 12, four of those 12 haven't even ever played in a Super Bowl. Name me those 4. They have never even played in a Super Bowl. This is a 4-point question. 4 teams that have never even played in a Super Bowl. Okay, question number 10. District 4 has 5 classifications. 5A, Williamsport's the only team in it, so they go into a inter-district play. Right now, name me the District 4 leaders in Class A, 2A, 3A, and 4A. You don't have to tell me which one's which. Just tell me the 4 district leaders as it currently stands heading into week number 8.
Wait, how are we going up to 1 to 4?
Yep, 1 to 4. 1 to 4. And it is starting to rain, isn't it? Yeah, now I got to go out of the press box to announce these starting lineups. We're on the clock. We're at 4:50 until I announce. Okay, so I'm going to go through these real quick again in case you missed one. Number 1, 5 Great Lakes. Huron, Michigan, Ontario, Erie, and what?
Superior.
So you guys don't need any repeated? Okay. All right, Superior's correct, so you each get a point. 2 missing 7 dwarfs. We have Happy, Doc, Grumpy, Sneezy, Dopey, and... Sleepy's 1.
Cheerful?
Cheerful?
That's Cabbage Pepper.
No.
Care Bear.
Bashful's 1.
And Sleepy.
Sleepy's the other, so you get 2. Okay. 3. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Michelangelo.
Donatello, Leonardo, Raphael, and
Michelangelo.
Michelangelo. Good. You guys both get a point there. Number 4. The missing child, not missing, the one that I didn't say,
Rusty.
is Rusty. Correct. I would have accepted Rusty or Russ. You get that or no?
No, I got
Nope. Okay.
Bobby.
Bobby.
Bobby. I didn't know that.
Bobby's up here. We were hoping he's missing the way he's distracted us. Okay. On Mount Rushmore, faces you can find are Washington, Jefferson, Lincoln, and Roosevelt. Theodore. Okay. 6. Periodic table of elements contains 6 noble gases. This is a 3-pointer. Xenon, argon, helium. The other 3 that we're missing. Krypton, radon, and neon.
Oh, we got 2.
Got 2. Did you guys get any? Okay.
I'm not even-
The missing Beatle. John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and
Ringo Starr.
Ringo Starr. Yep. Okay. Sports questions. Alabama, Clemson, Georgia, and who?
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. 4 teams that have never even played in a Super Bowl are the Cleveland Browns,
Jackson.
the Jacksonville Jaguars,
Houston.
the Detroit Lions, and the Houston Texans.
All right,
Oh,
we
so
got
we
two of
got
them.
we got 3.
Okay, they got 3, you got 2. And last, 4 current district leaders. 4A, Selinsgrove, 3A, Danville, 2A, Southern, 1A, Canton.
I only
We
got
got 2
Southern
and 3.
right.
You only got Southern right. Well, at least you knew that one.
I got
Add
it.
up your point totals.
I thought Central was.
6, 7, 8.
Wait, so do we get 1
13.
point out of 10 then?
Did you get 1 right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get
All
a
right.
point.
13.
So then was
Dave.
number 2?
2 is a 2-pointer, yep.
I told you.
Yep. Okay, we're on the clock here, 2:20. I'm going to start getting yelled at here if I don't head down.
Dave, you got to show them how to use
Yeah, I
it.
will.
I got 9.
Okay, 9 to 13. So, the defensive ends, 2 field goals and a touchdown. The D tackles could only muster 3 field goals. So I guess, for now, the defensive ends are the brains of the operation. Thanks for joining us. Tune in next week. Next week we'll have on the Southern Water Boys. And also, I have to give a shout out to Shane Yeager. He added some clips for me to make this look less crappy than it does. Gave me a professional intro and some transitions. So make sure to tune in next week. As always, tune in to the Black Diamond Sports Network I'll be calling the game tomorrow night with Phil Manny, and every Saturday morning you can read my story on Southern Columbia on PAFootballnews.com. Have a great rest of your week, everyone.